So the Propel model is a model that will help you to set up your strategy from planning to learning. So it's steps for developing your marketing strategy. Every step will inform your next decision. And last, it's a cyclical model that helps you improve over time by learning from what you've done before. Now let's look at the first part of the Propel model, the planning. So the first step of your Propel model is think about planning. That's the foundation of your strategy. You have to set up a strong value proposition that sets your business apart from competition. You have to set a time frame, a budget. How much is it going to cost? How long is it going to last? When are each action in your strategy going to be performed? You want to evaluate the existing resources. Do you already have content? Do you need to improve on this content or just create completely new content for your audience? And also look back into previous campaigns or content that you've created. What was successful? What was not? What do you wish to reproduce or not? How is it going to fit in your strategy? So the plan part of the Propel model is about looking at what you have and thinking about what you're going to do with what you have. The next part is the research part. Now that you know where you're going, you have your objective, you have your value proposition, you know what audience you want to reach. You want to learn more about them. You want to learn more about the competition, the trend, how do they interact. You want to learn from the market, from the audience, from the competition to see exactly, very precisely how you're going to communicate, what the message is going to look like from the value proposition, what media you're going to be using. Is it going to be more social media? Is it going to be driving on your website? Is it going to be banners? Is it going to be influencers? You want to recognize the challenges of the market because you're going to go out there, but it's not going to be always easy. So you want to know what challenges you're going to find out and how you stand towards those challenges. Like developing a SWOT model, your product strength and weaknesses, but also the opportunities and the threats of the market. You want to be aware of all of this before you start creating and testing because you want to make sure you have all the cards in your hand. And doing your research will help you create result-based report because you know your audience, you know how they usually interact, you know what to expect from your campaign, so you'll be able to better look back at the end and be like, yes, this is how it worked and this is how we perform compared to what we expected. Which leads us to the objectives. So doing your research, you'll be able to set up better objective, more refined objective. You'll have your main objective maybe at the start, but then maybe it'll multiply in several ones. You want to create a SMART objective. So objectives that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That will help you be stronger and know more about where you're going and how you're going to achieve that. You want to define your KPIs. So what are going to be the key performance indicator on your objective, the measurable part? You want to align with the business and the sales team. It's not only your objective, it's how marketing will help the sales reach their objective and will help the business reach their objective. You need to know how you will measure your success at the end of the campaign. Because if you look back and there's nothing there to compare, how are you going to prove that your marketing campaign was useful for the business org? The fourth point of the Propel model is prepare. You want to prepare all your assets before you launch the campaign. You want to develop your creative, plan and buy your media, and attribute a point of contact for each action. Because you know your audience, you have your objective, you're thinking and you've thought through all the channels, all the content, so you need to actually get this content created. And some people might be in charge of writing the copy for your website or your blog post or your social post. Some people will be in charge of the images. Some people will be in charge of posting. Some people will be in charge of creating. You need to define all this. You need to be prepared. We know where we're going. Now how and who is exactly going to be doing it? And what is it going to be look like? And once you have prepared and you have all your assets that have been created, you're ready to push them forward. In the execute part, you want to deliver the content to the relevant channels. So you have media vendors, media buyers that need your banner. you have to provide a banner to them. You want to monitor the success, and depending on this, you want to adjust the creatives and the media buying for underperforming ads. Let's say you've created one set of images with one set of content that you're pushing on a specific website or social media, but they're not quite performing as you expected. Not a lot of people are clicking, not people are liking, so you're thinking there might be something wrong. And because this is costing you money, if it's underperforming compared to your expectations, you can stop it, pause it, refine it, change it if you need to. On the opposite side, you can look at your success. Whatever is working, maybe you should reproduce. It will help you to pass down any relevant leads to the sales organization. When you execute, you put your campaign out there, and leads are going to be created and come through the marketing funnel. And that's during the execute stage that you want to take those leads and give them to sales if it's relevant for them to close the transaction and then transform those leads into customers, which is ultimately the end goal, to grow the business sometimes. And lastly, the learn stage. Probably one of the key ones, because you're learning from what happened. You go back, you look back at your objective, you look back at your creative, and you see what has worked, what has not worked, and what you can reproduce, what's relevant. You want to gather all the campaigns data, you want to highlight the success and the loss in return on investment. You want to compare your results against the sets of objectives that you prepared before, and then you want to capitalize on the success of campaigns and understand why it was successful and why others were not. And keeping a record of this for future use will really help you see your growth. Because you don't want to reproduce any mistake, but if you had success, you want to build upon them and maybe take that direction. Maybe you tested multiple images and some set of images or content or tone of voice is working better. So you'll keep going with it in the future because it obviously is resonating with your audience.